Well, I'll tell you too, you know, I keep hearing how these cities want to get off local government aid and blah, blah, blah. But so far, and we talked about this previously, Jason, all they've done is really take that cost and dumped it onto us.
Yeah.
In property taxes.
That's really it.
Yeah.
And it's not because they've wanted to, it's because they've had to. I mean, they're still taking whatever the state government is giving them.
Oh, of course.
They're not turning it down.
That's
Instead of
free money.
becoming self-sufficient, we're still on the government dope.
Yeah, well,
you know?
Exactly.
Another thing like in Crystal, and I don't know New Hope's figures, but in Crystal, we've faced over a $2 million increase in our property taxes just since 2005. And in the last 5 years, they've gone up 19%. 19%.
Yeah.
And that doesn't include our favorite thing, special assessments.
Right.
Where they're still going ahead with all these phase plans. They're going not far from me now. They're going to the Broadway, from Thriftway North. They're going on the west side of West Broadway. There's another thing that's not part of their normal budget. You won't find it on their simple form budget.
And a lot of people don't understand how this works. I mean, really, if our taxes locally go up a little bit, but our state taxes went down a lot, I think that would be worth it. It'd be like if I'm the taxpayer and Dennis is the city government, and I give Dennis $20 to take care of something within the city, say roads. That $20 is going to go mostly towards roads and some toward administration. If Andrew is the state of Minnesota and I give him $20, he's going to take about 10 of those dollars, maybe 12, 13, give the rest to Dennis. Then Dennis will take his administration off the top of that, and then there's $4 left to go to the roads.
Around of money, and that's the whole thing about local government aid. It's money being taken by the state, being thrown into some formula nobody outside H&R Block understands, and then it's being spit out. I mean, Minneapolis is one of the largest takers in LGA.
Oh, yeah.
And they have sports stadiums, all those buildings, bars and restaurants, hotels. Dennis, how the hell are they not self-sufficient?
They should be. If they're spending too much. Yeah, they
but I think it's the attitude of it's free money, we're entitled to it. But the idea that Plymouth and Golden Valley are funding Minneapolis, I just can't get that out of my head. As how wrong is that?
Absolutely.
You know, I think it's interesting with budget increases. Again, property taxes were originally proposed in New Hope to go up 6%, and they pared it down to 1.5%. That's after revenues in the previous 2 years comparing actually went up 9%. So that's 1.5% on top of 9%. And this is supposed to be a recession. It's not a recession for city government. In fact, in their budget report, I've got a quote here. The impact of any future levy increase on residential and commercial property needs to be continually reviewed and balanced with the level of services that the city can continue to offer and the new initiatives it undertakes. Now, does anywhere in there, does it say anything about we're trimming back? Or we're going to maintain or slightly reduce our level of services in these tough times? No,
you know,
none of that there.
And it sounds very familiar to the city you and I live in.
Yes.
They want to do business the way they've always done it.
Always.
Yeah, I mean, look, you know, the private world has had to change. They've had to change. They've gotten creative. They've taken the initiative. It's time government did the same. What is wrong with you people in government that you can't, you know, get a hold of your own budget, for crying out loud? I got to do that at my house.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, we all do. We all have to.
I can't levy my boss, you mean?
Right.
I can't do that?
Right.
Yeah, it's interesting you say 6%. Is that not covered? I thought there was a levy limit still in place. Is it?
Oh, yeah, but it's no, New Hope hasn't reached their levy limit yet.
I see.
They set the bar high enough that they've still got room to go.
And if I understand it right, the levy limit, just real quickly, was part of a deal to close one legislative session a couple years ago. It was supposedly 3.9%, but if I understand, there's about a dozen exceptions to that. I don't really remember what those were.
I don't.
Yeah,
there's always a little wiggle room.
there's always something,
Always.
huh? Well, I'll tell you something. I just am glad to know that I'm paying $12,000 for awards and $15,000 for bank fees.
I haven't
Maybe we gotta
gotten any
change
of those
banks.
awards.
Yeah, I haven't gotten them either. Why don't I get that stuff? It's like I keep telling District 281, why am I not on the Great Grads page? I want to be on there. Got Tom Dewar on there. How come I'm not on there? Well, I'll tell you what. Any closing thoughts there on New Hope?
Well,
one or two
out of
statistics?
140 pages, I've only scratched
I
the
feel sorry
surface.
for
I've only scratched the surface. I mean, I've only got 2 pages of notes here.
Oh.
And believe me, I will be looking into lines that I have not yet crossed.
And you know, it's important too to watch these meetings on TV, on Channel 16, on the Comcast you're watching right now, and attend them work sessions if you can, because that's where the meat and potatoes are really
That's
made.
exactly where it happens. And yes, you're invited, but I mean, come on, if you have a family or you're going to be going to council meetings, work session meetings, all the commission meetings, just so you can keep up with
Yeah.
what's going on. And they
Full-time
don't,
jobs.
Yeah, they don't advertise, too well.
And the least they could do
yeah.
is when they summarize these things, they could at least, put something. I mean, the people who do the summarizing in the city of Crystal look like they're late to lunch filling it out.
Yeah, the meeting minutes are like
we talk-
announcements,
Yeah.
talk about meeting minutes
Goals
from
for the
last
year,
meeting.
And there's no information at all on
What's
there.
your favorite color?
I mean, look, and the City of New Hope, they have their meetings the same night the school district does. So if they both have a work session the same night, how can you be in 2 places at once? I mean,
Right.
folks, I've got no life whatsoever, and I can't make it to all these meetings. So I can't even imagine how people with families, full-time jobs, other things they're involved in, Little League or whatever. I mean, how the heck do you get to them all?
That's why we need a few more people to step up and take a look at these things. I mean, attend a council meeting once in a while and report back to your neighbors. What do you hear?
and-
Report back to us or
And if
whatever.
you have the time too, write a letter to the editor,
Yep.
send
Yeah.
them an email, give them a phone call if you don't understand something. Those are all good things. Well,
It's-
the time just continues to fly. It always flies by on this program. It's unbelievable. Well, folks, tune in again next week. We're going to get into some really good stuff about the Met Council, the Bottineau Boulevard BS, and a few things about the Three Rivers Park Bar. I know
Yeah,
Dennis is dying to talk about that. So tune in, same time, same place next week. We will see you then. We are out of here.